Hello, dear sisters and brothers. Welcome to the Season of Creation 2020 Daily Reflection. The theme for this year's Season of Creation is Jubilee for the Earth. During this season, let us celebrate the goodness and beauty of creation, thank God for His love and mercy, and pray that we may care for our common home and give our earth rest from our greed and destruction, so that it can continue to sustain and govern the earth community. Father Benedict Ayodi, a Franciscan Capuchin father from Kenya, is the program manager of the Global Catholic Climate Movement in Africa. He will reflect on Laudato Si number 49 on listening both the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are from. Pace Bene. My name's Brother Benedict Ayodi. I'm a Franciscan Capuchin friar, and I'm currently the program manager for the Global Catholic Climate Movement, or GCCM Africa. Well, I would like to speak about a very important aspect in Laudato Si number 49, which in a nutshell say we need to listen to the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor. And it continues to say that a true ecological approach becomes a social approach. And from this context, I'd like to cite the example of this slum called the Mathare slum. It is connected to the Kibera slum, which are the biggest informal settlements in Africa. More than 1 million people live in these slums in Nairobi. And Nairobi could be around 3 to 4 million people. So you can imagine almost 250,000 or 250,000 in Nairobi live in these informal settlements. Why do they live here? Did they cause themselves to come and live in these places that are desperate? They do not have sewer, they do not have water, they do not have electricity, there is crime, and people just are living in a desperate situation. There's sickness. Why? Because, the structures that we have, structures of corruption, for example, structures where we have a system that do not care for the vulnerable of the society, the widows, the children, the orphans, and others. That system, that structural injustice is the one that results to these kind of informal settlements, people living in desperate situation, in extreme poverty. Why? Because this is what we have, and the political situation that do not plan for these people, do not care for them. And we say that, and the Pope even repeats this, a true ecological approach becomes a social approach. When we care for the environment, when we care for our Mother Earth, we'll also care for those vulnerable. We'll also care for the poor amidst us. We'll also care for those who are poor in the society. But if we do not do either of those things, then we'll have, the results is this kind of informal settlement where people live in extreme poverty. So one story is that this is an area of the church, and if you can see down there, the Capuchin Franciscans, including the Diocese of Nairobi, were able to build a small school here, very little school, that will now care for the people who live in these informal settlements or in these slums. So the children come to this school to get education. And we believe that when we educate even one child, that child will transform the society. That child will transform our environment, because we know very clearly that we being Christians, we've been called to be good stewards of the environment. When we care for the environment, if we plant here trees, if we care for these people, if we reduce our ecological or our ecological footprint, then we are able indeed to take care of these people who live in these slums. And we know that we've been called to be good stewards of the environment. That is an ecological conversion that we need to have, to care for the environment, to do social justice, justice, but also climate justice and climate action, that we may be able to transform the society. So I call upon you, all of us, from Africa, from all over the world, that we listen to the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor who indeed are suffering amidst us. Pace bene, God bless you.
What do I do to respond to the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor? O God of the poor, help us to rescue the abandoned and forgotten of this earth, so precious in your eyes. Bring healing to our lives, that we may protect the world and not prey on it, that we may sow beauty, not pollution and destruction. Touch the hearts of those who look only for gain at the expenses of the poor and the earth. Creative Spirit, enlighten our hearts and remain with your world. We believe that all creatures come forth from the all-powerful hand of the Creator, evolving through time and space, filled with God's presence and tender love. May God awaken our praise and thankfulness for every creature, and bless us with the grace of feeling profoundly joined to everything that is. Amen.